So lesson number 4, we're going to be taking another look at this minor blues scale, but we're going to swing it. So we're going to start sounding a lot more bluesy when we play this scale. So you've been practicing a very straight rhythm, and for a lot of people it's quite difficult for them to hear the difference between straight and swung. Now don't worry too much about it because it doesn't really matter because you're improvising, okay? You're not learning a song, you're playing it however you want to play it. And you don't even have to go between straight and swung. Straight is good for counting along to the beat to give you an idea of how many times we're playing this scale, each note of this scale, to the chords. But what you'll find when you swing it is it sounds more bluesy and it's easier to practice dynamic. So. Okay, we're swinging it. Straight would be. But we want to swing it. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at in this lesson and something you can practice to your heart's content afterwards as well. So let's get stuck in. So we're going to play the C minor blues scale using 8th notes, but we're going to swing it. So this is really fun, you're going to really enjoy this. When we did the 8 notes, it was very much a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's very even. To swing it, we're going to hold the main beat just a little bit longer than the second. So when we swing it, we're going to hold the first note just a little bit longer than we do the second. So the second note's quicker. So instead of going 1 and, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But there is a way we can count this correctly, and that's by using something called triplets. Now I'm not going to go into too much depth about triplets right now because we've got a whole lesson on this later, but it is important that you understand how the counting works. So let's take a very quick look at it. So as you can see here, we have 4 beats. So I've split up the bar into 4 beats and we're counting it using an and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And this is how we count 8th notes. Now when we want to swing 8th notes, the best way to count it in your head is using something called triplets. Now we're going to use the letter E to count triplets, but basically what a triplet is 3 parts to each beat. So you can see here I've written 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So this is a great way to count it and what a lot of traditional piano players use when they're counting out more complex subdivisions. But for now, let's look at each note separately. So this note number 1, we have 3 parts, 1 E and. And we count this across the 4 beats. So it would sound like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, now using our triplet counting system, we're going to play the first note on number 1. We're going to hold that for the E, and then when we get to the and, we'll play the second note. And that is how we get the correct sound from our swing. But of course, we're not actually playing 3 parts to each beat. We're only playing 2 because this is 8th note. So we just need the 1 and the and. So we want to make this E silent. So I'm going to take out the E and put a little dash in its place. So basically, we're counting in our heads the E. So it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now we want to try moving from C up to C and back again using this new way of counting. So remember the E we're going to keep in our heads, but this is going to give us that swung feel. So let's give this a go. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it's really difficult to hear the difference to start with, and you can get in a real muddle with this. And don't worry, everybody does it. When I started, it was a nightmare. But you know what? This is all about improvising the blues. So it doesn't matter whether you're swinging it or not. Whatever you're doing is up to you. And some people, when they're improvising the blues, will mix between the two. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So they're mixing between the two, but again, that's really tough to do. This is why we're practicing it. So swinging it is fun. I love swinging it, and I tend just to swing it anyway. So I don't really use straight notes that much, but it's good for you to have learnt it first. So let's try that again, but we're exaggerating it here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, this is a real exaggeration, but it gives you an idea of what we're doing when we're swinging it. And a good way to look at this is for each beat, there's 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that will just get you back into how it should sound, counting out the triplets. So we are going to try this to a rhythm, but first up, let's try this to a metronome. So I do a nice slow one. This is 50 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And. Okay, so we just want to practice that. Keep practicing, 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 swinging it, swinging it, swinging it, just like that. And then you can try it to the rhythm. So in the exercises, I'll do the 3 slow rhythms again. So we'll have 50 beats per minute, 60 and 70. I want you to work your way up to 70. So I'm going to play it now at 50 beats per minute. And then this is where you'll start with your exercises and work your way up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So much fun, and this is a great exercise because it's fun and it sounds good. We're just playing a scale. Usually playing scales are boring. Playing the minor blues scale in a swung rhythm is not boring. I love just doing that. And if that's all you can do, trust me, everyone else will still be amazed because they don't know you're just playing a scale up and down. They think it sounds amazing. So this is why it's so good. So follow these exercises. Again, I want you to start slow and work your way up to 70 beats per minute, and make sure you've got your counting right as well. If you have any questions at any point, you do have access to me, so just ask and I can always help you out with any of the stuff. So do make sure you do the exercises before you move on. In the next lesson, we're going to take a look at how we improvise using this scale.